So I done the 440 comp tune. I'm gonna show what all I did to it. But I got to looking, and these lights here in the front aren't very bright. I went to replace them, and look at this high-tech setup here, this black tape. Ain't that lovely? Man. I was gonna throw in a couple of lights where a man could see the meter clearly, and seeing this ball of wire sticking down here with tape on it. Man, you don't want to use tape. This stuff heats up, it'll just fall off. Best thing to do is heat shrink it. So I'm going to do that, then I'm going to go in and show the capacitors and the finals and all the good stuff I've done to it. Alright, so got some new lights in here, got everything heat shrink, cut out a bunch of the wire, made it nice and neat. Now we'll check out lights and see how they illuminate. The other ones was really dim. Alright, now I can actually see the gauges on the front of the radio. I actually be able to read them. The other ones was just really dim. Alright, let's see what kind of needle movement we got here. Yeah, 10 rudder. Hello, audio. Good deal. Alright, so I started off on this radio by checking it out, and the wattage was like a watt, swinging up to about 4 watts, so I knew it had some issues. So I got to look at the solder side of the board, and there was a lot of questionable solder joints. So I spent a couple of hours very carefully doing the solder joints, because you definitely can't get no hurry on that kind of stuff. This transistor, TR32, had been cut and just laid over. That's a no-no, so I put that back in, and TR53 is in the radio, R249. So all the limiters are back in the radio like they should be. Replaced this capacitor that was a 1000 with a 5600, 105 degrees Celsius at a closer voltage range what this radio works at. The factory ones are 25 volt, these are 16 volts, so they give you just a closer voltage range, operating range. Replaced this capacitor, this AM voltage regulator, this companion component, this capacitor, this capacitor. This right here from the factory is a 5600 ohm resistor. They had put a different resistor right here, and it was a 65,000 ohms. So the radio was definitely producing way too much modulation. Soldered in the mirror board, that way it's not going to pop out or get loose. And these two finals here was definitely weak. Went in and put the coils back. Somebody had the coils spread open, and tuned this, fine-tuned the transmit. So now it looks really good on the spectrum analyzer, and it looks good on the scope. Alright, now we will check out the power output, 50 watt slug as always, and we're going to be looking at RMS. This is the radio turned all the way down at a watt. Hello, about 12-13 watts. This is all the way up. We're looking at RMS. This is continuous output. Hello, about 23-24. Now we'll activate the Bird peak reading kit, and we'll look at the peak envelope power. Hello, audio, hello. 40 watts dead on the money. Radio is very spectrally pure. Went in, done a signal to noise receiver alignment. Calibrated the meter for S9. Added this ground tab here. Added this one right here. For some reason on the older model radios like this one, they didn't ground it here or here, but on the newer ones, all of them, the factory started doing that. So I guess they just learned it's a good idea. Alright, now I'm going to show the other side of the radio. I do have many hours in this radio. Of course, I put the new lights in, new transistors, AM voltage regulator, but I'd say the soldering on the back took the longest. But the power, it didn't want to come up, and I really had to kind of spend some time looking everything over very carefully to get the power up. So I got some serious hours in this radio. Alright, so on the solder side of the board, I had to go in and do a whole bunch of resoldering. All this shiny stuff is all been gone through, and I actually took a nylon brush and done a lot of cleaning on the board. But a lot of soldering here. Took this off, soldered underneath here. Spent a couple hours just very carefully soldering the board. Also took some cleaner from Craig Laboratories and individually cleaned all the switches. So there's no static in it. The radio's working good. Radio is top shelf. I appreciate you being patient with me. I was about 25 radios behind whenever I started on this one. And I appreciate you everybody watching.